I am back, y'all, and as promised, I just want to come and share some things that I wish they told me at the beginning of Day Trader, because there's so much information out there. And that's one thing I don't want you to do, is overload yourself with information, because y'all already know what can happen. You're taking in so much information that you don't act on it. That happened to me, y'all. And everything that I'm telling y'all is from experience. And I'm doing this little intro video before I get into everything that I did to set up my account. And I don't know if I stated that in my last video, but I was in a class. I was working at the time. So I kept putting day trading on the back burner. And I'm like, you know what? Let me take it serious. Was really locked in on the class with getting the information, but I wasn't doing nothing with it. Again, I was at work, so I really didn't have the time to practice. What I was doing at work though, because I had that advantage of after I finished, doing what I needed to do, like doing my job, and I had the time, I would listen to other videos. Not the class that I was in, but I would start watching YouTube, because I was just invested at this point. I'm like, yo, I want to learn day trading and whatever. So they're telling me their strategy. They're telling me how to get in and out of the trade. And it's just so much information at one time. And I'm just like, all right, what am I looking for again? I get lost on what I'm even looking for. So that's one thing I don't want you to do. I want you to pump the brakes for a little bit. You have to work on your mind. I'm telling you, because these charts will expose you real bad. It will chew you up and spit you out. Ask me how I know. I want you to work on your mind. I want you to work on your discipline. Give yourself like 2 weeks of just creating a routine and doing that over and over and over, because y'all, that's exactly how it's gonna be when you get on the charts. So if you're a person that cannot stick to like a routine and like be disciplined in your routine, it's gonna be boring to you. And that can happen, because trading is very boring. That brings me to my next tip. Don't just go join in any Discord. There's some pros and cons to that. So what I did was, which I don't want you to do, listen to what I'm saying. I had my class, that was one Discord. When I was still feeling confused, instead of me just kind of practicing, I was like, well, maybe this person is gonna give me, it's gonna sound different coming from this person. So I joined this person's Discord. And then that didn't work, so I joined this person's Discord. So now I'm paying these monthly fees of Discords, y'all. I'm telling you, it was a mess. And then I had to sit back and was like, this is why you're not really taking it in. You got too many people in your ear. You trying to learn this strategy, trying to learn her strategy, his strategy. Like, what are we doing here? Stop. Whoever it is that you gravitate towards more, go ahead and, join their Discord, but also be mindful. If they're not helping you, because some Discords, when you do enter the Discord, they already expect you to know how to day trade. They just sharing their strategy, or they're letting you copy their trades. But I would prefer you to learn the skill, get it down pat, and then we could talk about strategies and all that other stuff. Don't just go in thinking, this person make a bank, that person make a bank, I can make bank too by just copying this person. Copying gets you nowhere, okay? And I didn't come in with that mindset. So if you come in with that mindset, maybe it's not the right time for you to start learning how to day trade. It's gonna be like you're trading out of desperation, and that's something you do not want to do, okay? Because what happens when you just copy, y'all? You don't learn. You used to that person holding your hand. You used to that person telling you when to get in, when to get out. So what happens when that person gets sick, or when that person decides not to trade for the day? You're not gonna know what to do, because you're relying on that person to just basically hold your hand throughout the whole thing. No, learn it. I'm telling you, it will be so worth it when you learn. I know a lot of y'all is probably wondering too of how much you actually need to start day trading. Options, I would say you could at least start off with like $100 to $300. You don't even need that much. I'm gonna say $100 if you want to start your account off, right? Start off with $100, and then I would work on building from that $100. And that brings me to my next topic, paper trade. Paper trading, y'all, is basically practice. I'm gonna just put it in easy terms. It's practice, and this is basically using, like, it's fake money. They start you off with $1 million. So If you want it to be more realistic, because you know you don't have $1 million right now to trade. Well, if you do, honey, I wouldn't be risking that if you're just learning. Say, for instance, you want to start off with the $200 or the $100 that I'm telling you. You could reset your settings and put it to that $100 or the $200 mark, whatever one you want to start off with. And then you could live trade with everybody because the market's open from 9:30 to 4. While everybody's trading at 9:30, say for instance, like on your break, like I said, it closed at 4 o'clock. So you will still have time to like get some practice in, like getting in and out of a trade after you learn the basics or whatever. So you do your practice and you be trading with everybody else. Like you will see, you know, the profit, the fake money profit, or to see if you lost that day or whatever the case is. I literally paper traded for, I want to say like it probably was like 2 to 3 months, I'm going to say. And then I was like, all right, I wasn't like, all right. I told my little brother about it, Orlando, and he was just like, yo, you need to, you know, put in real money so you can get the feel, like the real feeling of losing or winning or whatever. Like just get that part over with. Cause y'all, I was a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, who got money to be losing? You can start off with $300 in futures, maybe $300 to $500. Have your mindset on futures for $500. And I'll explain why later because it's a lot. But that's why I said stick to options just to learn or whatever. And I wish I had done that. Just stick to options. Because I immediately went from practicing options to taking off on futures. And I was moving too fast. That's what I meant by discipline. Okay, very disciplined. Because had I just stuck over here and built my skill, you know what I'm saying? Like built my skill set up, I would have been good. But instead I came over here thinking I knew it all and rushing and like, you know, still iffy and not feeling very confident about taking my trades, but I was winning. And that is very dangerous because it got me to a point of, I was just like, oh shoot. Like not only did I win, but I won big, and it was a number that I just wasn't used to seeing within like a couple weeks. I want to say it might have been like 2 weeks that this number just kept growing, y'all, and I'm so serious. That's what made me say, is this real? Is this legal? In my other video, I meant that. Yeah, so as fast as I made it is as fast as I lost it because the overtrade started. This is another thing that, you know, you need to be aware of. When you start learning, this is why I want you, again, to work on being disciplined, okay? Discipline yourself so you can start disciplining your mind. So that way when you start learning, you already like, like she already spoke about this. I'm not going to be her. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all so y'all won't make these mistakes. So anyway, I started over trading, like, and over leveraging. So basically, just in short term, over leveraging is, say for instance, a contract on futures. Okay, yeah, because I was on futures. So instead of starting off with just buying one contract, right? Because you have this company, this big company. I'm just gonna say gold. So I'm trading gold, right? And I'm telling the company that owns, you know, gold or whatever, that produces gold, hey, can I invest in some of the gold? And they're like, yeah. How many of it? Like, how much do you want? And instead of just saying, let me just test out one, you know, I'll test out one and then I'll invest in that and see what I can do with this, just this one. Instead, y'all, I was literally like buying like 10, okay? From 1 to 10. And you will understand when I tell you, when you get into it, you're going to be like, you was wilding. Yeah, I was wilding. First, this was my first go. After me learning and my takeoff part, that's what I was doing. I was just wilding. So anyway, I would get like 10. Then my next trade, this is all in the same day, mind you. So I would trade like 10. And then I'm like, oh, okay, word, I made money off of that. I'm going to trade 18 now. So now I'm going up, trading 20 because I have the leverage now. Like now I have the leverage and I'm over leveraging. So as I'm making money, I'm trading more, which also means that I can lose more because of how much I'm trading. I know it probably sounds confusing and I'm sorry, but I'm trying to, explain the best way I can. But yeah, so I started over leveraging, and that can be very detrimental to your mind in general, because now when you start losing, which when I started losing, I'm like, do I not know what I'm doing? Stop. Learn. Like, that's why I'm coming on here and telling y'all, please don't make the mistakes I did. Learn this skill, okay? Learn as much as you can and then practice. Don't just jump in there. We're not just jumping off the porch, because then you're going to be discouraged. One more thing, y'all. I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. I'm just basically telling you what I've learned so far. After you start becoming profitable, don't just get ready to take your money out. Uncle Sam, he wants dibs. It's just as simple as that. So what I would do is, before you start to withdraw, because it is possible that you can make these numbers. It might sound impossible to you right now until you wake up, okay? But when you start, you will see what I'm talking about. And then I want you to come back to this video like, girl, you wasn't lying. I just want you to put that, because then I'm gonna know what you're talking about. Girl, you wasn't lying. But anyway, when you start making like, 5K, 10K, 15K, okay? Don't just think that you pulling out that 15K and Uncle Sam not gonna want his cutty, all right? If you decide to take out 500 from whatever you made, take out the 500, and just to be safe and smart, do things the smart way, because you don't want to be stuck looking crazy when tax time come and they see that you making all this money, because this stuff is hitting your actual personal bank account. You're gonna have to explain it. You know what I'm saying? So what I do is, when I withdraw, I'm immediately taking out 10 to 13%, putting that in a separate account. I'm in the same bank. That's another thing. Use only one account for, well, try to anyway. I don't know everybody's situation, but try to use one bank. Try to use one bank account for like all your trading stuff, just so things can be in order. I just like being prepared for things. So, yeah. So automatically I would take out the 10 to 13%, putting it in another account, which is for taxes only. Put it in there and just letting it sit. So when you bump into like those rainy days, or when Uncle Sam got his hand out, like, you made such and such on this day, I want my cut. You just pulling from that. You not like trying to dibble dab and trying to, you don't want to owe them. You don't want to owe, okay? You just want to stay ahead of everything, and that is it. So just to recap, I need you to work on your mindset, actually learn the skill. Do not go join in everybody's Discord. You want to just stick to at least one, I'll say 1 to 2. I mean, hey, if you don't mind paying monthly fees for the Discords, go ahead. The last was, make sure you play it smart, okay? I wish somebody told me that in the beginning, but I'm glad I caught everything and set it up the way I did, because then I would have been stuck. And I actually found one video, which I got put on from somebody else, a girl that trades. She told me about Doyle. Doyle was really good, and he's the one that broke down taxes, because it happened to him, y'all. He shared his experience about how they, Uncle Sam said he owed this amount of money, and he like, what? So yeah, we not doing that. Go get a CPA. Get a CPA in your area and ask them all these questions, and they'll lead you in the right direction. I hope that this was really helpful to y'all, for real, because starting out can be very confusing, very lonely, and overwhelming at the same time. And I'm going to be here to be sharing my experiences and to kind of guide y'all through what I did and how I did it. So in my next video, I'll be discussing how I actually started, what platform I use, what broker I use. Maybe I'll just start off too with how, like, showing y'all how a paper trade is, or the charts. I don't know. I'm gonna see, but I don't want to overwhelm y'all with stuff. I just want to give it to y'all, piece by piece, because I just know that videos like that is helpful from my experience. I would hate to just put everything into one video and then just have you sitting there and your attention span, we're not doing that. So come back in the next video, and we definitely are going to see even what the chart look like and how I trade. Maybe I'll take a trade with y'all on there at the market open. I'll screenshot and explain what I did, something like that. But yeah, so until then, y'all, I will see y'all in my next video. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and catch y'all later.